Have you ever wondered what your arrow is actually doing in flight and how your bow is actually performing? Well, here is a handy tool that can tell you everything about your arrow in flight and kinetic energy. It tells you how your bow is performing. It's called the Velocitip. It's a little calculator that when used with this special tip will tell you everything that your bow is doing and how your arrow is performing in flight. It's a real simple tool. You take the arrow that you're going to be shooting, you put the Velocitip in there just like you would a broadhead. It does not add any extra weight to your broadhead. You shoot this arrow 3 times to get a consistent reading. Then once you get through shooting, you take the Velocitip off. You put it into the docking station, and then that asks you specific questions like how far you shot, like 20 yards or 10 yards or 30 yards. But for this purpose, we're shooting 20 yards. You put that information in, and it gives you a detailed report on what your arrow does in flight. It gives you launch speed. It gives you launch kinetic energy. It tracks the speed of the arrow in flight. It gives you impact speed, and it gives you kinetic energy upon impact. And it will also tell you the retained energy efficiency of your arrow in flight. So if you have doubts about your arrows, you have doubts about your equipment or your tuning, the Velocitip will help you straighten your equipment out, and then you will be shooting a perfectly tuned bow and arrow. The Velocitip is a $20 charge for 3 arrows. But it's well worth the money, well worth the investment, because you can compare different types of arrows to what you're shooting or what you think you ought to be shooting, and then that will let you know what arrow performs best out of your equipment. This is Santa Fe Archery and Velocitip. We'll have you pumping blood. I'm Dave Leining. That's your Archery Tip of the Week.